I grew up in a situation where I didn't have a lot of resources, didn't have a lot of money, was on welfare, lived in the projects for the first 18 years of my life. Entrepreneurship became somewhat of a way out opportunity for me.
This is a unique time in your life. This is a time where the risks are incredibly low, especially if you're in school right now.
Entrepreneurship has changed my life. My parents moved here from East Africa during a very difficult political climate. Now, although I never told them about my first business in high school until after I sold it for over $1 million in my senior year, they were very proud.
People who are entrepreneurial, they see the world through a lens of opportunity.
A little bit of, yeah, I can do anything.
I've always been a salesman.
Curiosity.
We started and ran a couple different businesses together in college.
I think I reopened the bookstore in middle school.
When we had snow in New York City, I would take my mom's garden shovel and I would go to people's doors.
I was selling candy and baseball cards in the back of the school bus.
When I was 8 years old and my mother bought me a transistor radio, I knew the minute that I turned this radio on that I would be in radio.
An entrepreneur ability is to stand outside of the crowd.
It's you're the boss and you're like, this is where we're going, let's go.
Great businesses and great ideas solve a problem.
You have to try stuff. You have to go and see if you have customers. You have to talk to real people.
I created a gang atmosphere where young people can earn money.
I really love product and have a great time spending hours in a Sephora. This is a fun idea. It's something we could understand as consumers.
We should bring this idea of a late night hot food truck to my campus.
And we realized that both of us really were looking for pre-filtered, targeted information about New York that we couldn't find. And we knew that all of our friends wanted this kind of stuff.
Step one is we had to prove proof of concept.
You want to start with a solid foundation of the things that you know that you're good at and then build from there.
And I would urge that any entrepreneur go into their own field and look at more resources that are available to them.
Know who your client is, know the value of the product you're selling.
How is your solution unique? If you're going to open up a lawn care system, you're going to mow people's lawns, why am I going to choose you over Joe Blow down the street?
You could open up a website for a product that doesn't exist. You could run a simple Google AdWords campaign to just see if people would click and buy it.
A great thing about doing the beta test is that it gave us data points to talk to investors.
The most important thing in a business plan is the art of planning.
The business plan is used to put you and your partner and potentially your employees on the same page. Inside the business plan, what you want to address is who is the customer that you're going to be going after with this product? How are you going to attract the customer to the product? And how is the product going to address the needs of that customer?
Traditional marketing still has its place in business, and what I mean by traditional marketing is pretty much everything but online.
We worked really hard to make sure that the packaging would be the primary marketing vehicle for us in those early days.
I network a lot. I wear this red Smug Monk hat everywhere I go.
I think it's extremely important that companies build an identity and that they build a consistent message.
Brand is everything. Let's think about McDonald's. You see a yellow M, you don't think McDonald's, you think, oh man, a number 2.
I'm doing cross-marketing with other businesses as well. Like if there's a jazz club and they need to eat or they need to listen to music.
Social media is probably the greatest marketing tool ever given to entrepreneurs.
You can shoot a video and have it posted right now to YouTube and Facebook and let people know, hey, here I am, here's what I'm doing.
On Facebook, we introduce like a new drink or the new special.
We have what we call an advocate group, which are core consumers. So we leverage them through social media.
So instead of spending $25,000 or $50,000 on an expensive focus group, you can do that focus group for free if you have a robust Facebook page.
I grew up in Bed-Stuy. I wanted to start a cleaning company. The problem is that I didn't have any money.
You are the product, right? So when I'm going to raise money at the end of the day, you're not investing in my company. You're investing in me.
I grew up in a very, very poor environment, so we didn't have a lot of money. So it's all about leveraging our resources. If you don't have a lot, how do you take it and make more?
We raised a little bit of what's called friends and family money.
Don't ask for exactly what you want. Ask for more because things could happen. You might need that $10,000 extra, $20,000 extra.
Every investor cares about a couple things. One is, how much am I giving you? How much am I expecting to get back? And how long is that going to take?
The minute you can't make a payment, call the person you owe the money to.
Have one credit card. Don't try to have 10 credit cards.
Half of my time is focused on managing the cash of the company and then figuring out the best and most strategic ways to use that cash flow to grow our business.
Make sure that you take time and allocate money for a rainy day.
Getting the right people on the bus is job number one for building a great company and a great culture.
An employee that needs a whole lot of management or structure or whatever is probably not a great employee.
A lot of entrepreneurs fail because they automatically assume you need to run the whole show, you need to micromanage to a T, and I'll be very honest with you, that's the quickest way to failure I know, and I've experienced it.
Every team leader inside TerraCycle has to submit a robust weekly report.
You should be spending 10 to 20% of your time outside the office with other Zappos employees.
Most successful businesses, they have board meetings, right? No, we have basketball games.
Growth means revenues, growth potentially means profit, growth means scale and size. But if not done intelligently and done wisely, growth can be the worst thing ever.
You start a company and there's 2 guys in a room, you can change course 7 times in a day. As you grow and you become 40 people, the bigger challenge is to make sure you're defining what these products are you want to build with enough lead time, and then giving people the time to do their jobs right.
To grow your business, you just have to keep meeting people, keep meeting politicians, keep meeting community members. It's about the resources, the people I meet. That drives where we go, I'm more sporadic, I'm more organic in my growth. I grow whichever way the sun is pointing.
If you present yourself as somebody who's really interested and curious, and if you really want to learn, you won't believe how much time people will set aside to teach you.
Never, ever, ever stand around someone that you know has knowledge that you want access to and don't ask a question.
I went to Wesleyan University and I emailed lots and lots and lots of alumni of my school and said, can I take you out for coffee? Can I take you out for lunch?
I popped into this restaurant by us the other day and I saw a guy sitting in there looking like the owner, and I went right up to him. And him and I ended up having an hour conversation, and I learned a ton.
The most important thing is just get started.
And what's the worst thing that could really happen? If you really think about that answer, we're not that bad.
It's a very manic, depressive lifestyle. One day you're extremely excited, and the next day you don't want to get out of bed.
We do a lot of work to get to where we are. So that's not for everybody.
You gotta believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is gonna believe in you.
Don't be afraid to fail. And you're going to fail. The day you succeed, it'll be on the steps of failure.
Realize that when you graduate, never in your life will you have 8 hours a day to learn and study again.
A lot of great entrepreneurs worked for another entrepreneur to see what it's like. Steve Jobs worked for Atari.
If somebody wants to experiment with being an entrepreneur, be a waiter in a restaurant and own your own section. Your tips will always tell you how good of a job you're doing.
What you need to find to really love your career is something that you love that overlaps with something that you're good at.
You have to get rid of some things in your life that are holding you back.